As always, I'm gonna have to review my footage and see what I caught. There's just so much sun and glare out here, it's kind of hard to see what I'm capturing. And I have a pretty janky setup, but I switched to my 4S pack. I hit low voltage on the 6S, and I'm gonna go back across the street back to the little dusty lot and play over there for a little bit. So it did go into thermal twice on the 6S pack. Once over there in the dusty area, because I was running the dusty shroud, and then over here in the grass. And I don't know, it's a combination of things. I might gear it back down closer towards its original gearing for the 6S, but it shouldn't have like the heating problems on this gearing and stuff on the 4S. It's just how I've been running it up to this point. So I mean, it's punchy and stuff on 4S, and it's fun, but it's like on that 6S though. It's a whole nother animal. Truth be told. I mean, I was thinking, those kind of like low elevation jumps and things like that, and like having, well, I mean, yeah, it's a factor. Not having enough time to react and things, for the air control was, my problem, which probably also explains why it's up to this point been so much easier for me to do, either with my short course trucks or the Techno, the MT410, because that truck pretty much can do like what these do on 6S on just the 4S, because it's so light. Man, that's really rough over here. Look at that. But on 6S, I was actually quite surprised to find that the air control, believe it or not, was easier to get a hang for or pick up relative to the 4S bags. It's everything happened a lot snappier. It was more responsive. So like, it's not like that it was lagging before, but like on the 4S, you definitely kind of had to plan ahead you know, both your approach speed, lining up, and timing, you know, whether you're going to brake or accelerate or whatever in the air. And even then, you know, the response, it wasn't like immediate, or you know, it just wasn't responsive. And I noticed right away on like the 6S, you know, I jumped it, and you barely have to, you know, you're barely moving like the throttle trigger. Like you would hit the jump, and regardless of your approach speed, as long as you were like lined up, you would see the truck kind of react in the air, and you would, you know, tap the brake or touch the throttle in the air and just get this immediate response, and you're more like able to deal with it in like real time rather than having to plan ahead, which was quite nice and surprising to find out. But I mean, yeah, for us it's still fun to use, but you know, kicking up the dirt roost and drifting around, that's cool. Oh, by the way, I mean, I guess if you're interested, while I was, you know, looking for a 6S battery to get, you know, I was just kind of punched in my search criteria. I was looking for something with the XT90s. I didn't want to like solder up my own batteries, but most of the ones I was like finding, or like, you know, the ones that people are recommending and talking about were sold out, or I couldn't get a hold of. So you know, I have, you know, looked at these in the past, and I've you know, even used you know, 4S packs of theirs, but I went back to the SMC Racing for this 6S pack. This is the 6500 MAH 75C batteries. You know, it wasn't, you know, it's not a bad price. It's what I expected to pay for, like, you know, this. It was just a little bit over $100 for a single 6S pack. These big 6S or 4S batteries, except for my Summit, I prefer to, like, you know, just run a single pack and not run series or parallel connections. But, you know, that's just personal preference. Yeah, that 6S battery was, you know, it's pretty good. Prior to that, I've almost exclusively been running like a Gens Ace batteries. Yeah, I can't, you know, say like one way or another, you know, as to the quality of the batteries, but, you know, I haven't, the Gens Ace have been solid performers for me. You know, they're consistent. They, you know, pretty solid performers. I am getting what they seem to be advertising on there, and honestly, like, their customer service is quite impressive. You know, they're very good company to deal with, but, you know, I may like try some other stuff. I'm not made of money, so I just kind of have to take my time and get what I can when I can get it. And I'm not trying to sell anybody on any particular thing one way or the other. You know, I just kind of show like what I have, and if I have anything that I could add to the conversation, I do. Otherwise, you know, everybody has like, you know, their limits to like what they're willing to spend and all that stuff. So I can't like talk up like one thing over another. Like most people say, you know, if you're satisfied with what you get and, you know, it works for you, you know, that's all you should really care about. And I'm just, you know, out here doing all this for fun anyways, so I don't got a horse in it. Oh, let's do the oval. This thing is fun. Just like letting it get loose and track around this oval or this circle. It's fun. Let's see. We'll enter it and see if we can just keep it sliding. Trying to bleed more power in. Keep it in there. Woo! And I lose it. Let's not stand downwind before all that dust is. I already got that valley fever once before. I ain't doing that crap again. Yeah, that was that experience with that valley fever before. That didn't go well. First, it complicated pretty quickly into pneumonia for me, and you know, I ended up having to go, you know, get that taken care of, because at first I just thought I had like a flu and stuff, but then you know, the nasal drippage and all that stuff, it was like getting worse and worse, the congestion and everything, and it was like all piling on all together at once. You know, you'd hear the crackling like whenever you breathe, which is, I guess, indicative of, you know, the fluid and stuff in the lungs. But yeah, it's like I got like the pneumonia real bad, which resulted in getting stuck with one of the largest gauge needles I have ever seen in my life. And like they were trying to push this like syrup thick penicillin or whatever they used to treat that. Then I had to take that medication to like clear up the valley fever, which actually isn't, you know, a virus. It's like these microscopic what do they call it? It's like like a fungus or something, I think they call it. You breathe it in like with the dust, and you can't, apparently it's just dense enough that like once you get it into your lungs, it just like stays there. I have to, once you get that, you have to keep going back getting tested until you test like clear negative for it, like while you medicate and treat you. It was just terrible. But I'm still here, so actually I brought a dust mask out with me too, just in case, but the wind is kind of keeping it away from me, so. And woo, look at that. Oh, now it's right into me. Uh-oh. Don't tell me. I think the drive shaft popped out again. Did it? Yep, the other side. Oh, actually the whole thing unscrewed. Oh well. That should probably be pretty close to low voltage.